Excellencies, honorable guest speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Now I would like to invite our next guest speakers, Mr. Olrun, Senior National Advisor at Kampuchea Actions to Promote Education, Kampong, Cham Province, Cambodia. So our presentation will last for 30 minutes. So we'd like to give the floor to our guest speaker, Mr. Run. So please welcome.
Thank you, moderator. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So my name is Run. So I'm a Senior National Advisor to CAPE and also NGS Operation Manager. So thank you for the opportunity. So I'm going to share my presentation today. So let me, okay. So you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. Yeah, so because of time, my time is only around 30 minutes and now 1:34. So I will continue to present my, So my topic is about teaching STEM in Cambodia. So this is based on the current status of Cambodia and also the practice in new generation school. So in my presentation, we will focus on 4 things. So just the need why we need a STEM education in Cambodia, especially the current economy and changing world. So why it is so important. And next, we will share with you about some basic definition, and as well as another teaching methodology that we use in Cambodia, as well as a new generation school to promote the STEM education. And the last one is sharing you about the challenge in implementation of STEM education. So as you know, so this is the 21st century. So the century changing a lot, not just about society, but also everything, especially technology. So in order to meet the needs of economy, we need to also change our education. So that's why STEM education is really become popular, and it has been spreading out all over the place, especially in developed country. They're already very strong. But for developing country, less developing country, it's just becoming now kind of a really a neat thing for education. And especially, I mentioned technology is very important. Technology has been and being used in most sector. So not just society, like they would like to have a social kind of a smart city, but also economy, and also for various industry, agriculture, commerce. So everything need technology. So in our school system, we need to introduce STEM education using technology. So kind of integrated system, And as we see, the world is changing a lot. Everything use technology. So STEM is a key subject that integrates science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So in order to develop this, not different, it is different from before. Before, our education just delivers through traditional aspects, but now it's not very traditional anymore. We need to have an integrated system, integrated teaching. So STEM subject is really important for us to understand, especially Cambodia, that we try to integrate into, has been integrated to Asian country and also the world. So we need to know that, and you know about the industry revolution. Now we call the 4th industry or 4.0. In our industry has been revolved a lot. The last one, 4.0, I think everyone understand. For 4.0, that kind of the cyber kind of a connected world, kind of interconnected internet. Before we have kind of computer already under 4.3, but under 4.4 we are even more like kind of a smart system or smart technology kind of. We are in artificial intelligence. So 4.0 is really moving the world to the next level of development. So STEM education play a big role, as well as technology. So STEM curriculum, basically it's just kind of idea that we try to educate children in the 4 basics subject, or we can say interdisciplinary and apply approach, mean a practical approach in our education. So science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, like I mentioned before. But we try to deliver this disciplinary, interdisciplinary in a cohesive way and connected way. And the student need to do hands-on practice, real-world application into their daily life. And so if we compare with a very traditional classroom or traditional teaching before, or maybe also still relevant in Cambodia context, that we just provide teaching to different subjects in a kind of very traditional, I mean not really connected at all. So different subjects just deliver in a separate way, not really connected. But in this world or current world, or we can say in STEM education, everything needs to be blended, especially the four key subjects that we call STEM. So how we do blend it in STEM education? So we can see in this table, like if we look at the parameter or component on the left, we have kind of interactive learning. So could not be kind of teacher centered anymore, but more interactive. So the teacher or student use mobile device and web-based learning and various educational software just kind of thing together. And the student are able to do their learning very hands-on through kind of activity we call project works or problem-based learning, or we can say through research. And in the classroom, we have kind of place for display their own work that they create from the team and from the active learning. And we can see the form how students work together is very connective. So we can say group work, or students have email account that connected to each other. They can do project work, not just face-to-face, but also through collaborative writing, through online, through social media. And the way they learn have a different aspect, could be very traditional, like face-to-face in the classroom, and can be online or any other place through some kind of a blending learning approach. And how we do assessment to our student also different from very traditional, like just do summative exam monthly or semesterly based on kind of question that not focus on student portfolio, student like kind of debating or kind of developing product or using life skill education. So the way we do in STEM education, especially the assessment, need to be really different from the current examination at the grade 9, grade 10, and also backup exam. And if we look at the school environment, so we need to have a rich classroom environment. For example, to serve STEM education, we need to have enough for science lab, science equipment, as well as technology, and also the place where they could design and develop things, not just a product physically, but also digitally. So this is a key element or component to serve STEM education. And for every application, we can see some key main teaching methodology or approach. So for example, in order to deliver STEM education fruitfully, productively for our students, we need to use the inquiry-based learning. We need to provide a coding program. And we also need to provide kind of extracurricular activities through subject club, project work, and learning environment physically, like space, and also interactive library, and also digital we need to have in place. Yeah. So I'm going to skip this. So, yeah, I'm going to skip this one. And so now number 3, this is really key for showing you about our key teaching method. Yeah, our teaching method for providing or for facilitating STEM education. So the main approach is constructivism, and we have some kind of technique or methodology, problem-based learning and project method. This is the key method that we also use in Cambodia, especially in the new generation school. So what is constructivism? I think this idea is not, this approach is not new for the world, especially developing country, but it kind of new in Cambodia. And currently, I think the Ministry of Education are really working together to harmonize different approach and teaching methodology in order to use in education. So constructivism kind of the approach that we use different technique and teaching methodology to promote learning, or students can learn themselves rather than just listening to the lecture and from the teacher, but they can learn on their own and they can learn from their friend. So the knowledge are built through discussion, through sharing idea from friends. So they exchange not just face-to-face, but also through a digital connection. Here are just some basics, you know. And this is just additional teaching methodology to promote STEM education under constructivist. So problem-based learning in our world, in order to address the need for markets and to respond to the complexity, complex world, we need to introduce, to make a new thing, a new way of learning, to make so students are able to address the problem that they are living. So problem-based learning is a approach that really support our citizen to be able to be entrepreneur, to be a problem solver, to address their own environment, their own issue. And another thing we call project-based learning or project works. This is kind of a new and also engaging learning way or teaching methodology that have students to create their own product through synthesizing previous information, what they learn from different sources, and they can create a new thing. So I think this is similar to problem-based learning, but problem-based learning are driven by problems. So some more ideas about what is project work. So we can see some characteristics. For example, students work in collaboration and they create new knowledge just based on their context, based on their environments. So this is kind of unique knowledge and experience to their own society and community. So then they will be, their knowledge and spirit will be built from their interaction. And here are some examples that we have been implemented and introduced to the school in new generation school. So I'm going to click links and then I stop sharing and sharing screen again, yeah, so that you can see a short video. Okay, so I stop sharing and then share again. Yeah. So you see my.
Yeah, we can see and hear, so we can continue.
baking soda, lẹ, sabu, hai nângទឹកខ្មែរដែលជាអាស៊ីតអាសេតិកដំណើរការពិសោធន៍ជាដំបូងយើងត្រូវការដាក់ baking soda 2 ឬ 3 ស្លាបព្រាបន្ទាប់មកយើងដាក់លក្ខចូលដាក់វាយើងត្រូវការសំខាន់គឺ baking soda ហើយនិងទឹកខ្មេះដើម្បីឲ្យវាឡើងមានដល់ពេលដែលយើងដាក់ baking soda ជាមួយនឹងទឹកខ្មេះវានឹងប្រតិកម្ម
So because of time, maybe I try to speed up this video.
Bảy pê đờ, ốp con sắm rắp miền bây giờ ơi phụ không anh chúng non khai ban giờ thì ca ban cầm chuối tật.
So I'm sorry, we could not finish the video, but we have a presentation that we can share. Going to stop this video. Okay, so again, back to my slide. So you still see my screen, which I would like to check.
Yes, yes.
So you can see here just some example of how we promote STEM in Cambodia and also through, especially through new generation school. So in order to support STEM, we need to make sure we have enough equipment and material for them to do experiment in and outside class, and to make sure the school, this is I think regard to Cambodia, teachers are very popular in their private class. So to make sure our school could stop that practice, because when they're busy with private class, they don't have enough time for a real experiment in the classroom. So, and also make sure the school, especially the classroom, have a kind of a space for them to display the work, and also space for them to work together, to work in group and in a collaborative way. And library is very important in order to support inquiry-based learning and place for them to get information, not just through book, but also internet. So we need to make sure we have internet connectivity so students can do research individually or in group. And to make sure also enough device for them to borrow and also use in the school, because in Cambodia we don't have some areas, especially in rural, like based on the Mr. mentioned this morning. So the students are able to access to device just maybe around 40 or 50%. So make sure the school have available material for them to use. The device, digital device. Another facility that we need to promote, introduce to the school, not just the software or website that we could introduce to STEM education, but also we could create software that promotes STEM education. And the challenge for your information to understand about our education in Cambodia, as you know, STEM education kind of interdisciplinary and in a connected way, integrated, but our curriculum is not integrated. So we have a separate subject for physics, for chemistry and biology. So I think in the future for very good STEM education, we need to have integrated curriculum as well. And teachers are not really encouraging to use technology or ICT, or we can say any experience, because it's not covered in our national examination. So this is the problem undermine the success of STEM education. And another thing that we need to adjust, like teaching a teacher in the classroom, especially kind of architecture, classroom design, are not designed for group work, but just to support lecturing. For example, it is not extra at the blackboard, and also space is very crowded, so not easily for facilitating a group work and also research. Yeah, so this is the limited resources or capacity that we could not promote STEM education well. Another challenge is about private class that I just mentioned again. Yeah, so very popular in Cambodia, but new generation school, we are able to stop this practice, and the student have more opportunity to do real experiment. Yeah, so I think this is just some challenge that we would like to share with you. And I also, in the presentation, I think we don't have enough time because we want to have some space for question and answer. But when you have this presentation, you can check about in this YouTube one video that sharing about challenge and problem, why Cambodia have issue in STEM education. Yeah. Okay, I would like to stop now. So we have an opportunity for question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Arun, for such a great presentation. So far, we have got some questions, so please allow me to read the question for you. The first question is from Ms. Sakuntia Kong from Cambodia, and her question is how to promote STEM education at public schools in Cambodia effectively. So I would like to invite our guest speaker to respond to this question, please.
Sorry, for promoting STEM education in remote school, in rural
yes,
school?
Yes, in a public school, both rural or can be city as well, yes.
Yeah, if you look at if you look at my presentation, so we have overall aspect in order to address STEM education to make it well implementation. So the material, equipment, and school design, and also teaching methodology. So, and especially the last 6 challenges that we found. So it seems a lot, and it reflects to our public school, not just in the city, but also in rural, really challenging with this. And you can see some state school ministry already provided the material, but the teacher mindset and the problem happen because of private class, because of the national examination not cover how like experiment or ICT exam. That's why this not encourage a student or teacher to promote STEM education at all. So it just not mean the capacity, but also we have a system problem also.
Yes, thank you, teacher, for such a great answer. So the next question is from Mr. Chiang Chanak, and his question is, as you have mentioned earlier, that the 3 methods that are appropriate using in STEM education, such as Constructivism, problem-based learning, and project-based learning. So do you think among of those 3 methods, which one is the most effective method for improved STEM education? Why?
Yeah, so again, I think this is also big misunderstanding among educators in Cambodia. So as you see, the government, NGO, and also private try to introduce a lot of teaching method, and it seems that they don't understand how to implement. So everyone just try to develop and to introduce just a separate teaching method into the school, but they don't know how to apply, how to hybridize the approach. To me, and also to like based on NGS program, our practice is not to try to introduce this and that method, but we try to make sure the teacher understand all the method and then apply based on their issue, based on their environment. For example, they can learn about inquiry-based learning, problem-based learning, and also corrective learning. And they need to understand some techniques or stuff in each methodologies are the same. So rather rather to try to introduce one teaching method, but try to introduce or hybridize different method into different setting. So this is the thing that we want a teacher to understand. So if we just try to introduce one or this and that or specific teaching method, it will create problem because we don't, all the school in Cambodia don't have the same environment, the same material, or the teacher don't have the same capacity. But our goal is to make our educator understand all the method, but they are able to mix, to hybridize, to integrate it. So in one learning activity can integrate a few, one or two or three. It depends on the setting. It depends on what available in their classroom. Yeah, and based on their own capacity. That's why we like constructivism. Yeah, so we need to understand how to introduce pedagogy in our education.
Okay, thank you so much, Teacher Ulrun, for your great presentation, including the question and answer. I do believe that all your presentation and including question and answer are really useful for all the participants.
Mm-hmm.
So because of the time constraint, we could not answer all the questions of our participants. We deeply apologize for that. So before coming to an end of this presentation, Mr. Ulrun, would you like to say something, please?
Yeah, so just would like to say thank you for everyone who joined my session. I hope we have a very short time, but I think we have a few messages to bring like further change, for example, how to apply teaching method in Cambodia. So, yeah, thank you.